Welcome to another episode of our backend configurations. Now, in this episode, I'm going to take you through how you're going to set up your authentication routes. Now, the authentication in the previous episode, I took you through how to set up your MongoDB, and you can see we worked on the MongoDB, and now we're going to prepare routes that are going to be the server routes that are going to be communicating with our DB and our front end. Now, with that said, let us jump into our first scenario. Now, in this scenario, we're going first to prepare our models. Our models are going to contain the schemas that are going to be controlling what is to be input in our DB through the server using different routes. Now, the first thing that we need to do here is to prepare our schema. How do you want our schema to look like? And the first thing that we're going to do is import the Mongoose schema from Mongoose. Yeah. So the Mongoose is going to enable us enable communication between our DB and our server. So the first thing that we're going to do is prepare the user schema that is going to contain what the user should have. So we're going to have const user schema that is for initializing a new schema, new mongoose dot schema. Then the schema is going to contain an object. What is the object going to have? It's going to have username. So our first directory, we're going to have a schema with this directory. Rather, in JavaScript, we're going to have this object that is going to be username, and the username will have these properties of data type that is going to be it's going to be string, required. Now this is a query that you're going. This is the querying that you're going to be using for our DB. So yeah, required. The username, every time that you try to create a user, should it have a username? Yes. So we're going to return that boolean true. Then our next object that we're going to have in our schema is we're going to have an email, and the email should contain these properties, that is type of the email, which is a string. Then the email should have, the email is required. The query language should have the email as a property that is going to be required, that is true, a boolean. Then the email, to make it identifiable so that you do not use the same email for different users, we're going to make the email unique. Then it's going to be true. Yeah. Another property that we're going to have in our user is password. So what do we have in our password? What properties do we have for the password? Now the password should have type of this is not right. I think it is important, something that I didn't want it on our DB, so we'll do away with it. So the first thing that we're going to have as of we need to do away with this. So the type of password is going to be a string. Remember that. So our DB is going to have our password should be a string. Then the password, every time that you try to log in, the password in the schema should be true. So required is true. So what other objects do we have in our user? We have the first name. That is another property that we will have in our user first name. The first name, so the first name is going to return the first name should contain this in the schema should have type of string. Then we're going to have required as true property. So required is true. Then another remember we have an error here. Why do we have an error? Because we have an opening bracket, but we don't have the closing bracket. You see the error is disappeared. First name, then we have our last name. The last name should be should have properties of type. They're going to be type of string with also required as true. Yeah, so those are the properties of our, I don't know why I keep missing on the closing tag. Those are the properties that we're going to have for our user. So another thing that we're going to have is our timestamp for the user. The timestamp is going to tell us any time that the account, or rather the user, was created. So if you want to keep a track of the time when the user was created, you use the timestamps. Then we are going to declare that user as user is equals to mongoose. This is what we're going to export dot model with these properties of supposed to be user. Then the user should have as well user schema. Yeah. So this is what we're going to be using. This is what you're going to be using to control what is being put in our DB. So export, and we have to export this function. Export default user that we just called in our schema. Export default user. Very nice. So now with this information, we can be able to create our user. So this user is going to be, how do you control this user? The first thing that you're going to have is to control the user. And for us to control the user, I think I'd redone the video, but it had some hiccups, so I have to redo it all again. So we're going to have this user controller, and the user controller is going to be controlling what is between the router and what is being called in the DB. So the first thing that we're going to have is we're going to import the user schema here. And the importance of importing the user schema is to keep a track of what is being fed to our DB. So import user from, let us see where we're importing this user from. We're importing user from models. Yeah, models. Is it model? Yeah, user. Then because it's we're using ECMAScript, we're going to use the extension JS at the end of our at the end of the file. So import user from model users. So what do we have here now? So the first scenario that we're going to have is first we are going to create our first function, that is the signup function. So the function is going to be independent function, so we are going to declare it as export independently. Export consts signup. Remember, this is a function that we're going to be using to call our signup functionality. Then because it's a synchronous function, we're going to use a sync method to res. Then we should be able to handle our errors, so we're going to use the next. Next is used to is a middleware. We have to create this next middleware to enable us be able to handle our errors. So with this, we're going to use a narrow function. So with that, this is a function that is going to be calling registration or sign up of a new user. So the first thing that the user should have, we're going back in a bit about the next. Just the first thing that we need to have is an object and the body of the user that we're going to be registering. So what does the register, what should the body contain? In an object, we're going to have username. So this is what we'll be registering: username. We have email. Then we have password. Then we have the first name, and the last name. Those are the properties of our sign up body. So we're going to return a rec.body. So this is the body of our sign up, rather the user that we're going to be signing up. And for us to be able to handle our errors, we have to create another middleware here to handle the routes, to handle the errors that or any exemptions that may arise during our executions. So we're going to have another folder here. The directory, we're going to name it as a utils directory. The utils directory is going to contain those functionality. It's going to contain some of the functionalities, including the error handlers. So in the utils directory, we're going to have error.js. So this one shall be able to handle our errors. And what are we going to contain in our error handler? Our error handler should have this function of export. Let me say export function error handler. Handler is equals to status. Then it's going to contain these parameters: status code, and the message of our final message, that is going to be, it's either a positive or an exemption message. So the const So in this function, we're going to have the error as new error. Then we're going to have it as error const error is equals to new error. Then error dot status code as status code. So this is going to be giving us the status of our functionality, rather the status of our function that we will be calling. If it's a registration, if it's, you'll see it as we go on. Then you can see the error handler, the error dot status code is equal status code. The error message should return the message. Then from that, we're going to have a return function that is going to be the error that we just exempted. So with this, we can be able to handle our errors. So the first thing that we're going to have, so from there, we're going to import it in our, we will be using it in our exemptions when we're trying to work on any error that may arise on our system. Sorry, yeah. So with that, we are going to have, so the first thing that we're going to have is you see the object of our user is going to have these properties. So the first thing that we're going to look into is making sure that we do not have any error that is within our body. So we're going to use the if statement to ensure that everything is required as required. So we're going to have username. If no username or there's no email, or there's no username, if there's no any of all this, or there's no password, username, email, there's no username, email, username, email, first name, the first name, or there's no last name, rather if the first name is equals to a blank string, or the last name as well is an empty string, as well as the password, and there's no password, and the password is an empty string as well, then we're going to throw an exemption. And the exemption that we're going to have is and the exemption that we're going to throw is going to be handled by our error handler. So we're going to have next calling this function of error handler. You see the error handler as important from our utils directory. Then the error handler should have return a status of our application, that is the status of 400 with a string in it stating all the fields are required. Yeah, so that is our first step, that we need to handle our errors. And the other thing that we're going to have is we need to hash our password. Hashing our password means that the password cannot, you cannot read the password without, we have to hash it with let me show you how to hash password to make the password only machine readable. So you cannot be able to view the password of a user without their consent. And this is one way of increasing your security of your DB. So the first thing that we're going to have is we're going to hash our password. And for us to hash our password, we're going to use bcrypting. We're going to bcrypt. We're going to have bcrypt. So how do you bcrypt it? So the first, you can see, you can come to the bcrypting module. You can import. First we need to import this. We need to import this module in our backend. And just to go back on the documentation, you can see it's going to explain to us how to go about bcrypting and all that. You first need to install the package bcrypting. Then after installing it, you import this. You import it to our. We import it to our application. So we import this bcrypt. We import the bcrypt. So you can see after we have installed the package, it has already installed. So the first thing that we're going to have is to create this bcrypted password. So we're going to store it in a variable that is const hashed password. Hashed password is equals to bcrypt. It's already installed. You can see it's highlighting in our end of the end of the statement, hash synchronize, hash sync. Then the password so the password is hashed with 10 bytes of you salt it. Yeah, you can see how you go about the hashing. If you want to understand more about bcrypting, please go back to you can check on the directory on the documentation of bcrypting, and I'm sure you're going to get something out of it. But for you to understand it better, just tag along, and I'm sure you're going to understand better as we go on. So this is our hashing function that we will be calling every time that we need to hash a new password. So with that in place, we're going to create another variable that is going to store, that is going to be calling a new user. Every time that you create a new user, the new user should have these properties as new user. Remember, the user is a MongoDB property. So this user here is the user that is going to be matching what we have in our MongoDB. So you can see, if I try to highlight on this one, you can see the properties that the fields have. it has these functions. It has username, email, password, first name, and last name. So those are the properties of the user that we're going to be creating. So and the new user that we're going to be creating, we're going to store them in our variable new user. Then the user should have username, email, password, that is hashed password. Now the version of the password that we just hashed. So we're going to have hashed password. So this one should be able to create our new user. But that is not enough. We need to try and catch to all of any error that may incur during our registration of a new user. So we're going to try and put those handle in our try and catch method. So in our try and catch, we're going to have, because we have a sync in our function, we're going to await a new user to save the new user. Dot save, that is saving the new user. So this method is going to save the new user. Then after the user has been saved, we're going to have a response of JSON in a JSON format with a message stating sign up, login, registration, sign up, all that. You can use any of that. So we're going to have registration. Naming convention is you can use any naming convention that you feel is comfortable with your application. Successfully. Registration successful. Then we're going to return an object of the new user. So this is the new user that we have already created from so this is the new user that we will have created. Yeah, and I don't know what is this message. My spelling is letting me down. So you can catch an error. So we're going to handle. How are we going to handle? Remember, we created this functionality of error handling. So we're going to call it here. This is where the middleware is being called. So we're going to have error. We're going to be throwing the error there, the type of error that we have. So we have already created our controller that is going to be controlling what is being put in our DB. But now we need to have a router that is going to take us from the that is going to link the server to the DB. So the first thing that we're going to have in our router is our Express framework. And for us to have the Express, remember we installed the Express framework in our applications. The first thing that we're going to do is import. We need to import the Express. We need to import the Express. We need to import the Express framework in our server. I don't need exemption. I need we're going to import Express. Import Express from Express. So this is how you're going to import our Express framework. Remember, Express is a link between it helps in transferring of data through TCP protocols. So import express from express. That is our first step that we need to create our express server. So router, calling the function of the router, we're going to have a router. We can call it router. The first router that we're going to create is post. And what are we going to post in our router? We're going to have a path of sign up path. Sign up. Then we're going to call that function that we just created, the sign up. You can see it's already highlighting, so it has imported from our controller. So we need to export this function. So export default. Exporting this route to our main server. Export default router. So export our main router. So where are we exporting the main router to? We're exporting the main router to our server, to our main server now. And our main server, we're going to have a middleware that is going to handle that sign up functionality. So we're going to have APIs. We're going to have all that. You can even add version instead of API. You can use a version, but we're going to use API. Then sign up. Then we're going to have sign up route. Sign up route. So we need to import the sign up route. Registration, it's not registration, is sign up. Okay. Sign up routes. From where we importing the sign up route from router with what does the router contain? From the auth.js. Yeah, so that is the sign up route that we will be calling. We can do away with this one. This one is not required at the moment, so we can do away with them. So let us first save our server and see how it's going to be. We need to restart our server. Remember, we have not restarted our backend server, and we're going to restart our server to make sure that everything is running accordingly. So the application has crashed. We can say why is it giving an exemption? What is the cannot find module router auth. Why? Auth. What could be the problem? Default router. First things first. Why? Remember, we have our I don't know. What could be the problem here? So import sign up route, yeah, from router, then the auth. I think everything is right. Why is it throwing an exemption? Is it router? Come on. Cannot find. Export default router. Let me see. Okay, can I change the convention here? Let me see. Route. So this is the routes, and I can as well change something here, and let's see if there's a yeah. So sign up routes, sign up routes. Could there be something fishy that I'm not getting? Let me see. I need to restart the server. Npm state. Come on. What is this? Cannot find module. Controller. User. Controller. Okay. The error here is extension JS. Remember, we have to include the extension JS every time that we're trying to call a function in a ECMAScript. Let us see now. It's crashed again. Why? Require not. Okay. In controller user. Okay. Routes. Mm-hmm. Sorry. Man, this sometimes it can be pissing so much. So you see, we imported the common JS. We were supposed to import the ECMAScript format. So import bcrypt from import bcrypt from import bcrypt from bcrypt. So yeah, so let's see how this is going to. Man, router is not defined. What do you mean router is not defined? Why do I have router? Router not defined. Okay, I think when we created we didn't create the router. We didn't declare the router. So const router is equals to express. This thing sometimes can be annoying, but I think when you get used to it, you'll understand how to debug your application. So express.router. So with this one, we're going to have an express server. Yeah. Let us see now if we save. How is it going to? What is going to be the response? So the server is trying to connect to our DB. Let us see how it's going to behave. So we have our router created as an express router. It's taking a while. I don't know why. But I think I think we have handled so many exemptions. That's why it's giving this. Okay, now we have a problem with our DB. Uh, you have to be very vigilant on your debugging skills for things to work out for you. So we need to log into our MongoDB and make sure that you're using the right APIs AP address for the AP address for our we need to be using it for the AP address in our to allow the communication between our server and our DB. So let me see. Let me see. So what DB are we running here? We're running the wrong DB. Let me get the right DB. We just created that DB. I don't remember the file that contains that DB. Remember I created that DB. Thought this thing can be annoying sometimes. So where are we right now? We're in the wrong directory. What was the name of what was the let me see from the clusters man the access to access the DB API is whitelisting. So west, will it be in the west minute? No, I think we created something. We created this directory. We created a folder to contain. I don't remember what did I call it. Login tutorial, yeah. So we have to waitlist the login, and for us to do that, we have to allow the privileges that are required of our the privileges that are allowed for our um, let me see. You see, current address not added. You'll not be able to connect from add IP address. So yeah, this one should sort us out. Let's see. Let us see. Let us try restarting the server and see if we have sorted our yeah. Very nice. You can see now when you your debugging skill should be improving or top notch for you to identify some of these exemptions. So you can see the MongoDB is connected, server is running. So we have linked our DB to our to our server. So the first thing that we need to do here is register our user, and for us to register the user, we have to use this URL links. We're going to test our API in our Postman. So let us see sign up as our end API if it's going to give us let us see when you try to register and your user not found. Where is it throwing this exemption? Not found. First things first. Local host sign up Should you have something here? Like what? Like sign up. Okay. Now we see we have another error. This is an internal error now. It's 500 internal error. What is it saying? Validation error. User validation failed. Last name path. Last name is required for the first name. So what do we have in our DB? For instance, let us go to our model, our user model. What is the first thing that we have? The first name and the last name. So what is it saying? It's throwing validation error. Error validation failed. Last name path, last name is required. First name, the first name is required. Controllers. First name, last name. But we have them. Okay. Is required. Validation failed. Last name. Last name. Is required. Okay. Now in our DB, what does it say? Required. What is all this? Okay. You see the syntax. The indentation is not right. Let us for the first and last name. Let us try and save this and see if we throw. It's going to throw the same error. So we restart this. We save the changes and see if we send the requests to a DB. Come on. We're trying to create a new user. So what is it saying now? Already. First name. But we saved the changes. The first name, email, password, first name and last name. Please make sure your naming convention is corresponding to what you have in your controllers as well as what you have in your model. Username, email, password, first name, last name. So all this they should be. Okay, this one we left something here. We left something in our new user. What is going to be returned from our new user? The new user should have as well the first name and the last name. Last name. We need to have those in our last name. Yes, you need to have them in our saved user. Okay, you can see it's not throwing any errors there. Let us see if it's going to register our user, our first user. Then 1 2 boom, registration. Very nice, very nice. You can see the register. Our first user is registered. Okay, after a very long hassle. Now what are the properties that are in our new user? Our new user has a username. The new user has an email address that is unique. Then our password. You can see our password is hashed password. Yeah. So we have our hashed password, the first name as well, the last name. Then MongoDB is going to generate an unique ID for each and every user. So this user, you can see the ID is it has generated the ID for the user. Then we have our timestamp created at, yeah. So this is the timestamp of our new user, that is the don files user, and updated at this time. So boom, we have our user. So our API, our new user API is created successfully. Very nice. So our next step that we're going to do is create our login route. The login route is going to enable us login for an existing user. So we're going to call it as a function, as an independent function that is going to be handling our login for the existing users. So the thing is export sign in sorry async function. Remember, we're going to have an asynchronous function, then we're going to call an arrow function. So export sign in. Sorry, we have not stored our const variable. Export const sign in. Then we're going, the sign in is going to contain these parameters: rec, res, and next middleware. So the next middleware, remember, is going to be handling our errors. And for the sketch of it all, we're going to draw a try and catch method to handle all the errors that may incur. Just like, for instance, you saw in our previous when we were trying to sign up, and we were not including the new user, the first name and the last name details. You see it was drawing the first name and the last name. So those are the sum of the middleware, the exemptions that our error handler can be able to throw. So we're going to throw the next middleware to handle those errors. So first we are done with our next middleware and our sign up. So and our try and catch method. So the first thing that we're going to do for a login user, we're going to allow the user is going to be allowed to log in with an email and perhaps a password. That is for you to sign in. Yeah, you are required to have those two. So rec, and those are going to be, they are going to be a response from the body. Oh, sorry, what was that? I think it has triggered something that was not planning on doing. So yeah, so for you to log in, you're going to have this. You should have those two: const email and password. So for you to sign in, you're going to be calling email and password. And for that to happen, we need as well to have an if statement to handle any exemption that may happen during the process. So we're going to email. If there's no email or there's no password, or there's no email, which is our primary field. Is it a password email? There's no password or email, or email is blank, is equals to string that is blank, or password is a blank string as well. We're going to then we're supposed to draw this exemption of next error handler, handler. What is okay? I think it's taking long before it can load. I think something is so intense, but it's okay. Error handler. Then you're going to call this error handler with a return of status 400. And if the user is not found, you're going to return user not found, or user does not exist. Yeah. So what is this? Next error handler. I might have mismatched something. All right. Next error handler 400. No. Sorry. Something is not right. Let me do away with all this. Then the next error handler 400. All fields. You have to learn. If you want to do a program, you have to learn. You have to love reading. There's no exemption. There's no shortcut about that. You have to love the books. So const valid user. That is, you are going to store the user now in our try and catch. Await user dot find. This is a MongoDB method. Find one. That is what the email. We're going to find the email, and if what is this? And if there's no valid user, return. If there's no valid user, return next. Return the exemption. Next error handler. 400. Yeah, user not found. Yeah. So this is how you're going to handle some of these errors. I think something is getting extra here. What could that be? You're closing it. Yeah. Const validate user. Valid user is equals to await, all that. So we're going to find if there's a valid user. So we're going to run through the DB and find the user through the unique email that identifies one user. That is the email that is going to be identified through an email. And if there's no valid user, then you're going to throw an exemption that with status 400, the user not found. Yeah. So that is for the user. Now we need to validate our password as well. Const valid password. Valid password. is equals to, you have to bcrypt this password that we are creating. Compare. Remember, we're comparing an existing password with a new password. So we're going to compare password. Oh, no. Valid password. Valid user. Valid user with the, we're going to compare the inputting password and valid user password that is already in our DB. Then after the comparison, then after we have compared the stored password and the password that we are trying to log in with, and if the valid password that we just input, valid password, if the password that we just import is not matching with the password that already exists, then we're going to draw an exemption that is going to return a next exemption, error handler 400, then invalid password, invalid password. So remember now, this one is going to verify if the password that we just import is going to be, is it the right password? Yeah, is it the password that we just created? Yeah. So let us see. Let us try and log in. Let us try and log in. Let us try and work on the login and see how it's going to, what is going to be the response. So so we have the sign up. So we're not using the sign up, we're using the login. Sign in rather. So what was this? Okay, sign in. So of a sign in functionality, let us create our another post. We're going to, no, first we need to create the login route. You see, we have created the login route. We have created the login controller. So we need to create as sign in controller. Sorry, we had created as sign up controller. So we need to create a sign in controller that is a post method that is going to have sign in path with sign in. Sorry, I need first to rectify sign in. Then we're going to import this sign in function that we just created. You can see it's already, why is it not importing? It's imported sign in. So we will have our sign in method. We will have our sign in function, and we're going to call that in our, we'll call it in our main server. Middleware, remember it's a middleware. So we're going to have API sign in. Then we have the sign in what? Then we have the sign in route. Sign in route. So we need to create this sign in route. The one. No. I don't want it. having this. So it's sign in route. It's even sign in. It's a good throw, but I need it as sign in route. Sign in route. Uh, sign in route. Let us see if this error will disappear. Sign in route. Sign in. Sign in from controller. No. This is the wrong place. I don't think it's not coming from the right place. I need it from auth. And even the controller, it's not from the route controller. I need it from the router. From routes. So it's still giving an headache. Sign in routes. What sign in? Okay. Let us try to sign in and see what okay. Now we have another error here. App.use supposed to be a middleware. So it's supposed to be with an extension of use method. Remember, just a small error, your application is going to break down. So let us see how the application looks like so far. Yeah? And it's coming up. It's trying to connect with the DB. Not only connecting to the DB, but the server is we're trying to start the server and connect to the DB. So it's not yet up. Let us see how long is this going to take. How long are you going to take, my friend? I need looks like it has hung somewhere, but let us give it a minute or so. I see where this takes us. Okay, I don't know why it's taking so long, but let us try and restart the server and see how it's going to. Very nice. You see the server is connected now. So let us try and log in. Let us try to log in using the API that we just created. So it's a login. It's going to be the same as the sign up. So we can copy this link here, the sign up URL to our sign in, and change a few things. Sign in. So we will need sign in. So we will. What is something is not right? What? Okay. You see, I've totally used different, but now you know what? Let us just we'll use this one. We'll transfer the other for uniformity. We will transfer it to our sign in path that we just created here. So it's a body, and the body is going to be JSON body. Yeah. So what should the body contain? The body should contain the login was supposed to have email, which is the email that we're going to be using, and password. And the password. Okay, so I don't really recall the password, what the password was. Let us do away with this error. So the login, it was this was the email that we used to log in, to sign up, sorry. So this is what is in our DB, and the email and the password, you can see it was 12345. So the email is as this one, and the password is 12345. So what do we need here? We need something. We need something, as I think we've not completed something in our controller. That is, we've not sign in, so we're supposed to have a return function here. So const validate user. So after you validate user, we're going to have this we're going to have what we're supposed to have first things first. We're supposed to have I don't want us to have return. Okay. Please make sure your code is orderly to avoid any misfortunes. So this is what we're going to return. We're going to return rest.status. Let us see. Rest.status successful login. We'll have rest.status status that status 200 with JSON message successfully signed in. So what are we going to return here? Signed in. We're going to return what? We're going to return the user, but we've not. We're going to return what? Const user is equals to valid uh this is now what successfully signed in. Okay, I think I don't want to go deep into it. That's why you see I'm reluctant on going on, because I don't want to prepare a lot of will not respond. What does that mean? Is the So what do you have in our server? API sign in. Sign in. So the sign in is being called from our control from our route. So the sign in API sign in route. Email. API out. Sign in. Is it what I have here? I don't want this. I don't want this sign in. It is on this app. So let me see. Not found. What is not found? Post localhost 3001. You know what? There's something else we can add in. Okay, let me. I think I should add something here. So, we're going to have verification of our user. That is, if you want to verify the user that is logged in is either a normal user or they are admins. If they have the privileges to access some routes. So for that, we're going to verify the user. And for us to verify the user, we're going to create this template that is going to contain the verification. Verify user.js. That is for user verification. Then we're going to have And for us to verify the user, we're going to use what? We're going to use JSON Web Token. And for us to use JSON Web Token, we have to import that module, JSON Web Web Token npm. So let us see JSON Web Token. So the JSON Web Token. We need to maneuver to our backend, CD backend. Then we'll have a JSON Web Token ready for in our backend. Then we're going to import that module. Remember, we're going to import it as this is a common.js format, but we want to import it as a ECMAScript. So for us to import it as ECMAScript, we're going to use the import method JSON Web Token JWT from JSON Web Token. So another thing that we need to import is our error handler to handle any error that may arise. That is error handler from error handler.js for ECMAScript. I don't know why it's not giving us that, but it's all right. So we're going to create this exemption. Export const verify token arrow function that is going to contain res and our error handler. That is the next. Okay. Verify next. Const token is going to contain what? Rec cookies. This is the format cookies dot access token. So this is where we're going to store our token. Yeah. And if there's no token, then you're going to throw an error. Oh man. Hey, what is not happening? We're going to throw this error. There's no token. We will throw return exemption. Next, error handler. This thing is taking me. I think my record is taking me slow. It's stripping my processor. And now the rest. uh, with that, let us now create our JSON token, verify that is token, the token of the person who has logged in, process. Then remember, our token is going to be process. We're going to store our token in our env, so we're going to have process dot env dot JSON web token. We're going to this is stored in our environment. We're going to create it right away. Error, then return user, and then it's going to have another function if error. If there's an error, then you're going to return this exemption. Next error handler 401 unauthorized. So the first error here was 400 unauthorized. Then we're going to return. What are we returning? We're returning rec.user. That is our user. Sorry, I think we need to do something. There's something I've not done. Oh, we've not created our JWT secret in our environment. So the JWT, we're going to have just random numbers. This is what we're going to be having for our JWT secret as our JWT secret. Next, then if an error is going to be handled in our next. So with that, we can be able to handle all the errors. We can be able to handle our user by verifying user using this function here. So this is how we're going to be handling our error. So with that said, let us go back to our authentication controller, and invalid user. So we're going to call our token here. This is where we're going to call our token. Const token that we just created is JWT sign with ID valid user ID. So this one is going to either, if it's the user is admin, we're going to have valid user is admin. Yeah. So the valid user, we can say the valid user is admin, and we're going to verify that using JSON web token to compare the JSON Web Token secret. Then we're going to the token. This is going to be contained in our token now. Process.env secret. Then we're going to have expires in. We're going to give it a lifespan of expires in duration. We're going to put it as what? 1 day. So we have our token already. We have created our token. That is now how to create our token, and we have already created our token. So after creating the token, remember the admin is going to control what the some of the roles that one can run as a logged in user. So const password pass and the password, and it's going to return what is going to be returned. We are stating what is going to be returned. It's going to be returned by the password that is going to be pass and spread operator to return the rests of the body information that is valid. Those are going to be valid user doc const password. Okay, so res dot status we're going to have, so after we have successfully identified the user, we're going to have a success status of 200 with a return of cookie. So the cookie is going to be contained on our header. So the access token and the token itself, that is our token that is going to allow only HTTPs, that is going to contain the HTTPs only. I hope everything is well. Then we'll have we'll return a JSON with the message JSON message successfully signed in. User and with the rest. So the rest is going to contain the rest of the user information. And if there's an error, we're going to handle it in our try and catch. We're going to handle it in our next. So our next is going to contain the error. Now, let us see if this is making let us see if the API is really making any sense. So the email and password, and we have API sign in with the sign in. Okay, something not right. Posts 300 API. So we're going to have this what is, maybe I should use something else here. Sign up, login. I'll use login. Login routes. Then we'll have login routes that is going to be in the controllers. Sorry. In our auth, we're going to have login with our exemption, with our, I don't want it to be sign up. We're going to use login. So we're going to import this login. We're going to import the login in our, we'll import it here. Login. Yes, this is what we need, and we do away with this chap. Let us see our server. How is it? Login routes. So we have login here. login routes. Login routes. So let us try and save and see. API, we have what? Login, then login. Is it login? Login. Yeah, we have API login. Then our router is going to have what? Login. Yeah. Login, yeah. 1 2 internal server error. JWT is not defined. Okay, where is this now? JWT is not defined. Where? Controller. User. You're going to import it here. Was not defined. We're going to import. We're going to import the JWT from the JSON web token. So import JWT from JSON web token. Let us see if we were able to handle this error. JWT. So we're trying to log in with the existing user and see. Type error. Oh. Cannot read property, read secret. Where is this property secret at? At controller user. Why is it saying that? First things first. Controller cannot what? Damn it. cannot read what? I don't want to buy that. GWT token, GWT secret. Let me try and see if there's an error here. Sign in. GWT secret. There's an error there. Let me see. Process.env. So we're trying to log in with already existing user. God, man. We have another exemption. So expires should be a number in seconds or string. What is it? ID. I was supposed to put an I one day, 24 hours. Come on, man. Just a small error and you're thrown under the bus. 1, 2, 3. Way. We have our login now. So our sign in eventually route is working. So we have our sign up. Our sign up is creating another user. But let's, for instance, try to log in using a wrong password and see how it's going to say. What is it throwing? It's throwing invalid password. Yeah. So when you try to log in, it's giving us an invalid password. But you can see when you log in now, it's going to give us a valid user. So this user has an ID. So this user has a token. And the token is going to be, will allow the user to identify what some of the roles that they can perform in our system. And you can see from this token that we created, you can see for you to access the token, you have to go to the header. You see the token is access token, status token. We will store our token in our header. Where is our token? You want to see our token? This is our token here. This is our token that was created. Return with status 200, and yeah, this is our token. Our cookie. Access token. This is the access token that we created. You see the session now is on, and the session expires in 1 day, in 24 hours. So every time that you try to create a token, that token is going to be active and expires after 24 hours. There's also another way that you can also include the refresh token that you need to, but that topic we're going to cover around later in our programming. So yeah, with that, we have our login, and we have our sign up, and we have our login. So the next thing that we need to is to join the backend of our front end, where we can be able to log in first. Then when we log in, we can navigate to our home page, and our home page will contain some very important aspects that I would like as well to cover as we move on. Yeah, and please give thumbs up to this video, and I hope to see you in the next one as we advance our programming skills.